Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how I got my driving license here in Austria. Before I came here, I'd already done my driving exams in Kenya, and I got my driving license in Kenya. But before coming here, I got also an international driving license. Yeah, it's I think it's a big one. It's big and it's grayish, or yeah, gray or something. Yeah, it's gray. Yeah, it's a big gray one from AA. So before I came here, I made sure that I got my international driving license. And this international one, I asked, they said once you come here, you are allowed to use it, but only for 6 months. And if you want to renew it, you have to go back again or send somebody again to the kids to do it for you. But so yeah, it is only valid, that's what I was told. I don't know if things have changed or not. It's valid for a period of, this hair is embarrassing me here behind. So it's only valid for a period of 6 months, not 6 years. So once I came here, the first year I was a bit, or the first few months I was a bit reluctant to learn how to drive and to do my driving license. So my husband, poor him, used to drive me everywhere. If I wanted to go to the shops, if I wanted to go for shopping, if I wanted to go just to visit the city, if I just wanted to, whatever I did, my poor husband had to drive me. So I told myself, so or so I have to learn how to do it, because I live in the village, and where I live, the bus stop is really, if you have the time to walk to the bus stop, almost 20 minutes if you walk fast enough. And I didn't want to do myself that, and I don't know how to ride a bike. So that would be actually be an option, riding the bike to the bus stop and then living there by the bus stop and then taking a bus to the city or to wherever I wanted to be. So but that was too hard for me. So we decided, my husband and I, we're going to go and inquire by the driving school here and ask what I need and what is required of me to get an Austrian driving license. So that's what we did, and then after staying here for almost 6-7 months, let's say 6 months, that's what between 6-7 months, I'm not too sure, but that was the period which my international driving license was expiring. So we contacted the driving school and we asked them what I'm going to need and the details, A to Z, the details that I'm going to need to require, or rather to acquire an Austrian driving license. So luck on me, they told me I don't need to do the theory part, I only need to do the practical part. I said thank God, because some schools, some driving schools here, also here in Austria, it depends on which one you go to, or I don't know if it's just some driving schools or it's Austria in general, but some are required to do, whether you have an international driving license or not, because you know the signs here, no, the signs are always same, but how am I supposed to say? Yeah, things here and things in Kenya, for me, driving here, driving in Kenya is another different experience. So we asked, and then I was told, lucky me, I only have to do the practical parts. The theory parts, no. And most of the time, the theory part is the part where people used to fail a lot, and they have a limit. If you fail more than 3 questions, you have to restart again. And when you're going through the theory questions on the computer, it doesn't stay for too long. They give you a time limit per question. You have a time limit. So if you take too much time, the pages flip over and it goes to the second question. That means you've already failed one question. So I was really lucky I didn't have to do the theory part, only the practical part. So the practical part, I only did, only 10 lessons. Yeah, that's 5 times a week. 5 times a week, Monday to Friday. I didn't want to do Saturday. There was only also a portion, an option of doing it on Saturday, but then I said no, I don't want to do it on Saturday. So I used to do Monday through Friday for 2 hours. So my husband would go to work in the morning, come back at 4, take me to driving school, and then pick me up at 6. Or sometimes the driving school people were really nice and they allowed me to drive myself home with the driving instructor next to me. So I sometimes, when my husband didn't have the time, the driving instructor used to come home, pick me up, and then do my driving lessons and then drop me again, because sometimes my husband used to work until 7-8 in the evening, and I didn't have time. He didn't have time to come get me again, go back to work and come back again. So my driving instructor used to come home on such occasions. That was, I think, only 4 times in these 10 days. She used to she used to come, pick me up. We go for 2-hour driving lessons, then bring me back home, or rather let me drive myself back home, and then she would go to the school, back to the driving school. So I did the driving school, the practical part for 10 days, as I say. Monday through Friday, 2 consecutive weeks. So, and then after these 2 consecutive weeks, I think I paid about, if I'm not wrong, it was 300 euros. Yeah, 300 euros I paid for this, only for these 10 days, for the practical part. So I think if you do practical and theory, it's about, you have to pay about close between, let me say, between 800 and 1,000 euros, depending on which school you're going to. So I paid 300 euros because I only did 10 days, and I only did I was only doing the practical portion. I'm looking at my children, I'm only doing the practical portion. So, and after this, then you have to book an exam date. And booking an exam costs 450 euro. 450 euro. And if you fail an exam, you have to rebook again and rebook again. And every time you rebook, you have to pay this 450 euro. I don't know why it's so much for the exam. I don't understand. So, to pay the 450 euros and I booked myself an exam. So I remember this time, the day I was supposed to do my exam, that it was early in the morning. I think it was the second person, and that was around 9 o'clock. So every exam student gets an hour of practical lessons, practical exam, because if I remember very well, in Kenya it was just, I think it didn't even take 10 minutes, because it's about 200 meters. They tell you drive from here, change from gear 1 to gear 2, there, stop, next, out. That's it. It didn't even take 10 minutes, but here you have an hour. So, and before that, with the practical, we used to go where the speed limit is 30, we used to go where the speed limit is 50, where the speed limit is 80, speed limit is 100, and then on the autobahn, autobahn highway, it's a speed limit of 130 kilometers per hour. And yeah, we did all of that in the practicals, on my practicals in the driving school. So on the day of the exam, it was raining. It was early in the morning, and also before the exam, we also taught how to parallel park. My worst enemy. I dread, up until now, if you tell me to parallel park, I just get panic. I don't like parallel parking. Okay, parallel park and reverse parking and forward parking. So these 3 types of parking. So yeah, so come the exam day, it was early in the morning. I was supposed to be there by 9 o'clock. So it was raining, and my husband drove me to the exam place. So, and then once we got there, my husband stayed in our car, and I got in the driving car. So I was there, and then my driving instructor, the lady driving instructor, was next to me on the passenger seat, and the examiner was back. So the examiner was just looking at the rear view mirror in front, and okay. So, and he was instructing me, saying, now you have to drive out, go left or go right or go straight or turn on the roundabout, do this, do that, blah blah blah. So on this day, I was in so much panic, and I was like, oh my goodness. I was sweating, and this time I had a pullover and a t-shirt. I was really sweating. Thank God I had dark clothes on that day. So we came out from there, and when you come out of this driving place where the exam was starting, he said turn left, and turning left is where it's supposed to be 30 kilometers per hour. Turn left, and then we drove a little bit, and then we headed to the 50 kilometers per hour space, and then we headed to the 80, and then we landed by 130. So, and it was It was tense. I'm telling you, I was sweating and I was thinking, oh my god. I was just concentrating myself, and it was just until my driving instructor and also the examiner behind told me to, take a deep breath, calm down, everything will be okay. So we drove about, we drove, and then we reached a place. He said almost it's a parking place where this it's a huge parking place. You're supposed to park forward and park backwards, so reverse parking and forward parking. That I did pretty well. And then came my nightmare. Parallel parking. My worst nightmare. So, and thank God, where I was supposed to parallel park, it was not full of cars, so it was easier for me. Because when you have the bad luck where there are so many cars, you have to consider. But my driving instructor taught me this trick, and I don't know if I was dumb or something, but up until now, when the parallel parking place is a bit empty, I have no problem with it. But when it's full everywhere, then you just have a space in the middle here, you're supposed to parallel park there, because you have to go a little bit forward and then come back and turn and then turn. I still have a problem up to date. But yeah, I did that. I parallel park, got side down, the place was not so full, so I parallel parked, and then he said, okay, and mind you, you're not supposed to touch the side road. If you touch the side road at parallel parking, it's a problem. I think you only have 3 strikes. After 3 strikes, it's off, and after 3 strikes they say, no, enough is enough. It's over, it's finished, you failed. So I parallel parked, thank God, no failure, no nothing. So parallel parked, and after parallel parking, they said, okay, you can drive along, and drive back to the. That's after almost 45-50 minutes. So then, we drove back to where the the driving school, Übungsplatz, the driving school. What is Übungsplatz? Practicing space or practice place? Yeah. The driving school practicing place. So we drove back there, and I was just looking at the rearview mirror because every time I was looking at the rearview mirror, then he was writing things, and I was thinking, oh my god, I hope I will not fail. And we were told these 3 S's. You look at the rearview mirror, you look at the in German they used to say Spiegel, Schulter, so dreimal S, Spiegel, Schulter. So you look at the rear view mirror, side view mirror, and then over of course you can't stand over the shoulder, just to catch a blink over your shoulder, and then if it's free, you drive and pass. So after that, you drove back to the driving place, and you have to sit in the car to wait for your doom. So he was just writing, and then he told me, congratulations, Yvonne, you've passed your exam. Here, if we were addressed by the second names, whether old, young, addressing is by second name, say Mrs. Timothy or Miss Timothy or Mrs. Mackenzie or Mrs. whoever Mrs. It's always the formal name, the second name, unless you've decided otherwise. So out of point. So she told me, congratulations, Mrs. You've passed your exams. I was happy. I was like, oh my god, thank you. Then you just get a piece of paper signed by the examiner saying you've passed your exams, and then that's it. It was just a piece of paper. It was and after I think a week, I got my German driving license. And when it came, they told me, unfortunately, we can't give you your Kenyan driving license back. Well, for the Austrian driving license, we went to the police to pick it up. Of course, it's a police. So when we went to pick it up, they told me, it was police in the traffic section. They told me, unfortunately, you're not allowed to retain your Kenyan driving license. You're sending it directly back to the Kenyan embassy, and then I'll send it back to Kenya. So and I asked them why. They said, that's how it is. So I had to leave my Kenyan birth certificate, my Kenyan driving license there, as I got my Austrian driving license. And the Austrian driving license is not like the Kenyan one, like it's not a booklet, it's a card, like an ID card. So, and that's how I passed my driving exam here in Austria. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, write down below, and if it's a question, I'll be glad to answer back to you. And thanks, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.